Let's see now what is a limiting reagent. Okay, the reagent which is totally consumed during the course of the reaction, and when it is consumed the reaction stops. Okay, let me show this with an example. Suppose let us see the preparation of ammonia using the Haber's process. So we know that N2 will react with H2 to give you ammonia, NH3. So when we balance it, 1 mole of nitrogen will react with 3 moles of hydrogen and 2 moles of ammonia is produced. Okay, let's not bother about the catalyst and all. So this is the reaction. So now by just seeing this, you know that 1 mole of N2 gas is needed and it reacts with 3 moles of hydrogen to give you 2 moles of ammonia. With respect to grams, let us write. So this is the molecular weight will be 28 grams. This will be 6 grams and this would be 34 grams. Okay, let us consider this. Suppose in case I reduce the quantity of nitrogen. Okay, let me say that I am going to add only 14 grams. But hydrogen is the same. Okay, it's going to react with 6 grams. What will happen is till this 14, so you know that 14 will need only 3 grams of hydrogen, right? So as soon as this is consumed, okay, this will be excess. So this here hydrogen only 3 grams will be used up. Okay, the remaining will be the excess. The one which is getting used up first will be nitrogen. So then this would be the limiting reagent. Limiting reagent. And the one which is excess, now hydrogen, because we need only 3 grams here, but it is 6 grams. So this would be the excess reagent. We should note that once this reagent is over, even if the other one is in excess, the reaction will not proceed and it will stop. Let us see a numerical based on limiting reagent. So that would be easier to understand the concept. So now here in this problem, they have given 3 grams of hydrogen reacts with 29 grams of oxygen to give water. Okay, so we have to calculate or find out which is a limiting reagent. So the first step what we should do is write the equation. Okay, so now H2 reacts with O2 to give water. Always balance the reaction. So okay, so 2H2O, this thing 2H2, so this will give you 2H2. Okay. Once you write the equation, balanced equation, just below that write the weight of each compound. Okay. So now hydrogen, so its gram is 2 into 2, so this is 4 grams. So oxygen will be 16 into 2, that is 32 grams, and water is 36 grams. So to produce water, we actually need to react 4 grams of H2 and 32 grams of oxygen to give 36 grams of water. Okay, but what have they given? They have given 3 grams of H2 and 29 grams of oxygen. So after seeing this data, we have to calculate which is the limiting reagent. What we should do is, let us hide either this one or this one. Okay, so let me just hide this one and calculate what will be the oxygen needed if 3 grams of hydrogen is reacted. Okay, so because the calculation would be easier, you can also close this and use the calculation here to get hydrogen. So now if I close this, so let me write here, so 32 into 3 divided by 4, so this would be 696 divided by 4, so that is equal to 24 grams. Okay, so if I just hide this now, using this data, I need only 24 grams of oxygen. But what is there? 29 grams of oxygen is there. So we need only 24. That means oxygen is in excess. So O2 is the excess reagent. Excess reagent. So once we find this is the excess reagent, that means hydrogen would be the limiting reagent. Okay. So now because we have only 3 grams, so here for the first part, which one is the limiting reagent? Hydrogen H2 is the limiting reagent. Okay. So why is it necessary to calculate the limiting reagent is because only using the limiting reagent we can calculate the amount of water produced, because if the other one is in excess, anyway that's not going to react. Once a limiting reagent is used up, the reaction stops. That's why it's very important to calculate the limiting reagent. So now we know here, so we will just write this again. So now we have calculated for hydrogen. So hydrogen is a limiting reagent, so we have to take this. So 4 grams will produce 36 grams of water. So that means 3 grams would produce how much water? Okay. So the next step would be, I'll write it here, 4 grams of H2 will produce 36 grams. Okay. So now here we found they have given 3 grams of H2 will give you how much of water. Okay. So now here this would be 36 into 3 divided by 4. So this would be equal to 108 by 4, which is equal to 27. Okay. So once we get the limiting reagent, use that to calculate the amount of the product. Okay. So now instead of 36 grams, we will get 27 grams of water. So for the second part, the amount of water produced will be 27 grams.